Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'd like to welcome everybody to the series of the Legacy Builders. I'm your host, Hannah Jolayemi, and I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. Tonight, as you can tell, we're going to start with our interview with a different babe tonight. Babes who was with us last night, but tonight we're going to have somebody else. So you're welcome. Wherever you're joining us, please relax and sit back to enjoy the session. So, if you're new to Bridge Redefined, we're a community of women that empowers other women to reach their full potential, either spiritually, economically, physically, and socially. Our mission is to create a supportive environment where women can grow, learn, and thrive. So, as we approach our 15th anniversary, and we're excited to share inspiring stories from our founding members and our leaders who have played significant role in shaping our organization. So tonight, I have the privilege of introducing Babes Daba, who is going to be sharing tonight our journey. We're to jump to the front and up to now. I promise it's going to be an interesting session, so I wanted to sit back. So everyone watching us tonight, please share this with anybody who will benefit from this. Okay, so we're going to delve right into it. I'm going to introduce our speaker, so that we can have a bit of a profile, who she is, what she does, and I hope that would be there tonight. So just let me see some before we move on the platform. Right, just get myself up here. So we have Babes Daba Olowudum is a solution oriented professional with over 15 years of experience spanning the finance and non-profit oil and gas support services. A natural leader with a gift for empathy, improvisation, and problem solving. She has provided senior management support, driven operational and improvement, cultivated high performing teams across diverse sectors. With a mass communication degree and an MBA specializing in enabling e-commerce, Daba blends strategic thinking and creativity, consistently delivering value through innovation, efficiency, and people-centered leadership. She's also an associate of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Her professional journey includes roles in operational management, editorial direction, project management, and executive administration, where she has coordinated publications, supported senior leadership, streamlined operations, and fostered effective communication with stakeholders. She also led rural outreach and capacity building initiatives, managed organizational systems, and provided performance and motivational support employees. Okay, beyond the workplace, Daba has volunteered in different ministries, including Faith Unified, where she has served as the donor coordinator, governing council member, and an advisory board member at Renton. She's passionate about inspiring and mentoring others. She's committed to helping individuals and organizations thrive with purpose-driven leadership, innovation, and collaboration. I'd like you to join me in welcoming Daba to tonight's lecture series. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you can hear us. Good, good, good. I think you're muted. Can you hear us, Daba? Yeah, you just on mute. We just keep streaming. Yeah, but can you hear it? Oh, it's muted again. You could change the volume of the sound. Don't worry. Uh, Sometimes it's a bit of a glitching. If that, I'm just wondering, maybe you could come out and come in again. Maybe that would help. Let me see. Hello, can everybody hear me now? Sorry, I think there's been an echo. Just trying to get the background. See. All right, it's better. We're just going to wait for Big Sapa to come in again. I think there was a bit of issue with I think our audio. So for those who, okay, she's ready now. Big Sapa, can you
Okay,
hear us now?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
yes, it's much better. Good, thank you. So you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very
Lovely
much.
to have you on the platform.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
How was your day? It's been
It's been good, very productive. So yes, I'm happy about the day so far.
good, wonderful, wonderful. Right. We've been looking forward. We've started the series of the Legacy Builder last night. So we had this Aditutu. It was a wonderful session. And she took us
Mm.
down memory lane of how things define everything that happened, how she contributed. It was really lovely to actually hear. So
I know it was
tonight,
fun.
yeah, and it was fun. And I'm sure tonight we're gonna have so much fun having this conversation. And
Amen.
I'm sure there's a lot of things you're gonna share with us as well. Okay. So we're gonna go straight into it. So my first question to you would be, what role did you play in the early days of Things to Define? How was it like? And your
Mm.
contribution, to the organization growth? How's it been?
Okay. Well, let me greet everyone again. Good evening, everybody. It really is great to be here.
Mhm.
Yes, 15 years. Wow. Time does fly.
Yeah,
Uh, for the beginning, what was my role? I don't like you read in my profile. I had
yeah.
had the privilege and the opportunity to serve in quite a bit in many slots.
Mhm.
When I think of BR, I think it's more of what BR has done for me than what I have done for BR.
Oh,
you know, so I don't know why this thing keeps falling off. Okay, so At the early days, I was added to Babes Redefined by my friend Frances Bassi.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, yes, so she added me to Babes Redefined. I started by commenting, asking questions,
Mhm.
participating. And then in time, somehow I found myself in a coordinating capacity for Port Harcourt zones when it got to the time for us to begin to meet together as a group.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't even defined as zones per se. We just wanted to meet physically.
Yeah.
That there are several babes in an area. So let's get to know ourselves, let's see ourselves, let's pray with each other,
Mhm.
let's share with each other. Okay, that was before it became defined zones. So yes, somehow I found myself in the coordinating capacity for Port Harcourt Zone 1, which eventually evolved into PH Zone 1, and then we now had 1, 2, 3 in Port Harcourt. Um, yes, then of course also became admin on the
Mhm.
WhatsApp group, not WhatsApp then, on the Facebook group. You
Okay.
know, at that time, posts could escalate really fast. You know,
Mhm.
a post can start out very innocently. Someone asks a question, and we're giving answers, proffering solutions, and then suddenly it's like somebody lights a match and someone throws a bomb, and everybody is angry, and everybody is
Mm.
throwing words here and there, and then you now have to start moderating the post, deleting comments, and doing things like that. Yes, so those are
Mm.
like some of the things I did in the early days. And then as we progressed, of course, like you read, I became member of the governing council, later member of the advisory board. BR has been BR has been a school. Yes.
Mhm.
BR has been a school for me, which is
Wow.
why I say when I think about it, it's not so much of what I've done for the group,
Mm.
but what the group has taught me in these different levels that have also now impacted my life outside of Babes Redefined. But I guess I'm
Yeah.
preempting the next question. But
No,
yes, let
yeah.
me leave it
You probably have already asked,
let
answered
me
some of
leave
my
that this
questions,
for now.
but it's good. Can I ask, how did you join BR? Do you recollect
Yes,
how
like
you
I said, my
joined?
friend added me to the group.
Oh, it was your friend. Yeah,
Yes,
that
Frances
I did you.
she added me to the group. And it was
Okay.
at a time when um I was in between jobs. I
Okay.
just had my first baby.
Mm.
I had a lot of questions. I had a ton of questions, and uh, I was wary about joining my church women's fellowship group
Mm.
because, well, most of them were old women. Well, not old in that
Mm.
sense, but I
Yes.
mean, I didn't fit in. I didn't think I fitted in, right? I didn't think I
Right.
fit in there. But with BR, I could stay anonymous in quotes. I could ask the
Mm.
questions I really needed answers to, and I could get answers immediately, like
Wow.
in real time. People would respond. So for
Sure.
me, it was a haven at that time. It was somewhere, a place to get answers, and that's what
Mm.
kept me there before I now became part of those proffering answers.
Oh, that's such a blessing, isn't it? That
Yes,
though
it
you're
is.
receiving, you're able to give back. And I think
Mhm,
that was something we shared yesterday, that that same heaven that you said, people can find a space where they can ask questions and they can get a response back. Wow,
mhm.
that's beautiful. So
Thank
I
you.
think you really answered that well. The next one I have is, how do you think they define vision and mission have evolved over the years? And what role have you played in the evolution?
Okay, I don't think the vision and mission has evolved. I just think perhaps the expressions have evolved, right? The
Mm.
vision and mission has remained the same. PR is after the whole woman, the entirety of
Mm.
the woman, right?
That's right.
Your beauty in and out, your spirituality, your economic
Mhm.
powers, your mental health, everything that makes you you, beautiful,
Mm.
adorable, blessed, empowered, and saved, right?
Yeah.
So it's the vision and mission has remained the same. The expressions,
Mm.
however, have evolved. Yes,
Mm.
it started from the online, purely online expression, which later
Yes.
evolved into the zones, which are now
Mhm.
campuses.
Yeah.
Along the line, we have the BR magazine, which
Mm.
also brought in a bit of menfolk, right?
Mm.
Our interaction with menfolk when we during that BR magazine era. Then we had the BR Nation, complete with our BR national anthem, which
That's
maybe some
right.
new babes don't know that we have an anthem. Yes,
Hmm.
So then we now still evolve to the BR initiative, which is now broader, right?
Yeah.
Reaching out to the larger society just beyond women. Then there's the Esther
Hmm.
initiative as well under the BR initiative. So I think at every point in time, there's a new expression or a new expression to handle what God is saying at that time for BR. But the vision
Mm.
and mission have remained
That's
consistent. All these expressions are still directed at feeding the total woman and
mm.
catering to nurturing the total woman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. You mentioned something about you having a baby at the time. How old is your child now?
she's
When you
14.
joined? 14.
She's 14
Wow.
now.
Wow. Can you imagine? It's amazing. I'm sure when you
Yeah,
look at her now and that baby that you're carrying, it's a big, growth change that has happened over the years. And when we think
yes.
about BR as well, it's the same, isn't it? You were
Hmm.
the early founder, you knew I wasn't part of the early days. But when I do hear from you, I think, wow, I'm actually loving it, how we actually started. But thank you very much for that. And then it brings me to the next question. What have been some of the most significant challenges that you have faced as a leader in Days to Divine? And how did you overcome them?
Okay. Well, huh. Again, I'll twist this, right? Because
Mm.
I try to think in terms of challenges.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say that one thing that was loud
Hmm.
early for me is the importance of the use of words, right? Because as a leader, your words carry sometimes more meaning or more weight than ordinarily it would. Because something you say that probably people would have ignored if it was someone else who said it, because you said it, it could people could take it very seriously and could take offense at it.
Sure.
I mentioned earlier when we're about moderating Facebook and things that happened on the comments on the
Yeah.
Facebook page. And it came. That was one thing that was very loud at that point. So whether you are addressing people online or whether you are addressing people face to face, your words mattered as a leader. My words mattered as a leader. So I needed to be careful
Yeah.
what I said, how I said it, right? So, especially when you're writing, it's a little difficult to convey tone in
Yeah.
text. You had to
Sure.
learn it. You had to learn to
It's an
convey
art.
tone in text. So it didn't look like you were commanding people, and then people wouldn't would I say obey simple instruction, won't comply with simple directives, and then if you talk, it now looks like you're commanding them. You don't want to
Mm.
command, you want to come across as commanding. At the same time, you need people to cooperate to get whatever it is you need done. Right. So that for me was the biggest um maybe a bit challenge at the beginning, but my biggest takeaway,
Yes.
learning how to curate what you say so that
Mm.
you achieve the desired results in your hearers.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm sure somebody is listening now, and probably you are a GC or a CC, and you're wondering, how can you be better in your communication? So, like you said, it's something you had to learn as well. So, would you say personally that was a skill that you gained through the process?
I would say so, yes. So
Mm.
BR gave me practice ground
Mm.
So somehow from my background where I'm from and
Yes.
the circumstances of my life, yes, I
Mhm.
had to be careful. Okay, mind my words, mind my speech. In VR translated it into minding it in a leadership role, or
Mm.
not just minding it now, but using it as a tool.
Yeah.
Right. So BR honed that for me. And yes, I can say that BR provided a very good school for me
Mm.
in that area. And I can boldly say that yes, I speak my speech is seasoned with salt. My speech is graced.
Awesome.
Yes, I can say that. And BR was a very great school that helped me with
Mm.
that.
That's
Mhm.
brilliant. And we're happy to hear that. You know, it's wonderful. Thank you. And I think also with the way it started, where you respond, people ask questions, it also gets you to be knowledgeable, I believe, where there are areas that I'm sure you probably don't know, but then you go out to research or ask other people. Did that also help at that period?
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
You don't even need to go
Mm.
far in terms of research because somebody asks
Mm.
you, you don't know the answer to the question. There's someone
Yeah.
else in this will be fine that knows the question. Like we have,
Mm.
there
Wealth
are a
of knowledge.
plethora of professions, there are a plethora
Mhm.
of women, different
Yeah.
strata, right, in Babes
Mm.
Redefined. So, whatever the question, there is someone who knows the answer. So, for you
Mm.
as well, who is a leader, it now becomes a platform for you to learn as well. You didn't ask the question, but
Yeah.
from the responses, you also can learn. Yes.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Step Seven. And how do you think Babes Redefined has made a positive impact on his members? And I guess you probably have answered that partly.
Hmm.
Um, any story, anything that stands out that you can remember?
Yeah, it's everything. Okay, so like that BR did outreaches, still does outreaches, secondary
Mhm.
schools, to girls skills acquisition, so in those, and those are not small, really,
Mm.
because you do that for one person, you change that person's life, you impact that person's family. Now
Mm.
multiply it to the number of people that BR has impacted in that way. I don't even think we have appropriate accurate records of how many
Mm.
people that has
Mm.
impacted. Because if you just take the secondary schools alone, and we went
Yes.
for these outreaches, and how many students were in those classes, how many
Mm.
students were in those halls, and multiply it by the various zones, because every zone has gone for at least one, at the
Mm.
very least, some two, three, 10, depending.
Mm.
Right. So really you can't I don't we can't really quantify. But yes, Babies Defined has impacted the lives of people. Babies
Mm.
has I just shared how for me BR has was a school, right? And
Yeah.
has been a school for me and has helped me. All right. I mentioned the magazines, right?
Yeah. That's fun.
BR magazine that we did at some
Mhm.
point. Well, during that magazine period, I was
Yes.
one of those who was editing, right? As
That's
it
awesome.
turns out, as it
Mhm.
turns out, right now, my day job, I'm
Yeah.
editor of a
Oh, wow.
monthly magazine for my organization, right?
Wonderful.
Yes, so I manage one such product. That's one of the things that I do now,
Okay.
and it's a skill that was honed in BR, and that's me. That's just
Mhm.
one, and we're many leaders over the years in the leadership. In fact, down to being a WhatsApp administrator, right? Being a WhatsApp administrator on Babes Redefined, there are skills that you learn in that role that, if we're honest, we'll find how we are able to
Into your
apply them to our day jobs, apply them to other areas of our lives. So, yes, to that effect, PR has impacted our community, has impacted our society massively.
Wow, that's really, you know, it's wonderful. And I think you said something about we don't have record. If we're actually meant to put that into numbers, we're going to be looking at a lot, isn't it? And I think maybe
Mm-hmm.
moving forward, it's something we're going to start to make sure we probably have records, so that it also helps people who are coming in to know that we're not just babes with the fan, but all the initiatives and everything we're doing, this is the impact we're making. And just because we don't have that record, but I'm sure a lot of people can testify.
We have some. It's not like we're
Okay.
recordless. We do
All
have
right.
some records. But I'm saying that I don't think it's as comprehensive as it should be. But we
Mm,
do have records right from the
okay.
beginning of the
Okay.
outreach. Because I remember at that time, we used to submit monthly reports
Yeah,
at
all
the
right.
Zoom. Yes, we
Okay.
submit monthly reports, written reports to
Mm,
our GCs, who eventually will also submit to the ABs. So yes, that reporting line has always been there.
everyone.
But
Okay.
yeah, so in terms of this event took place, this
Mhm,
babes was helped, this was done, this amount
mhm.
was spent on this. Yes, we covered that. But what I'm talking of, a broader report or more comprehensive report, in that
Yes.
for like outreaches, for instance, you report that this outreach was done, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
follow up on the people that were
Numbers.
ministered to. Yes, so
Mm,
that's the angle that
yeah,
perhaps going forward we need to look at a bit, so that
great.
we clean that up, and then we can say yes, these people, this number have been impacted by BR.
Great. Awesome. We'll definitely do that. I'm sure people are listening over this. We have work to do. So thank you for that. And my other question is, what advice would you give to new leaders? And I'm sure over the years, you've obviously mentioned you've had different roles within Babes of the Fine. What would you say to somebody who is looking to be a leader and who is looking to make a meaningful contribution? What would you advise them?
I always say that BR is the planting of the Lord, right? So
Mm,
when you plant in something that is the planting of the Lord, or you engraft yourself, or you plug yourself to something that God has planted, you will also
yeah.
flourish, right? So with that mentality, I would always advise, go in, take ownership. That's the word. Take ownership, right? Let's not lead or serve like we're helping,
Mm,
or like we're doing somebody a favor. Yesterday Tutu talked about the laborer versus the
worker.
work.
Yes.
Yes, right. So take ownership. If you take ownership, here's the thing: if you take ownership of a process,
Mhm.
sorry, I'm beginning to talk like I'm in the office now. But when you take ownership of a process, you're able
Yeah.
to think through it, you're able to innovate on it, right? If you do
Yes.
not take ownership of the process, you will do it as they said I should do it, right? They said we
Mm,
should do it like this, so we're just
mm.
doing it so that we can tell them that we did it.
We've
Now,
done it.
if you take ownership of it, you will first of all be able to transmit it better to the people you are leading, because now it's no longer they said, is we want to do this because of this, we want to do this because we want to achieve this, right? So it's a we
True.
thing, it's not a they said thing anymore, because you
Yeah.
have taken ownership. And then when you now think through the process, you can now also say, okay, wait, so because every no two campuses have the same situation, right? There are some, for human beings,
Modus
no
of
two human beings are
operandi
the same.
will be
There
different.
are some things that will be different, you know. So you can always, if you take ownership, you can think through, you can think of a better way that thing can be achieved. The same goal can be
That's right.
achieved in your campus, and then you can go back to leadership to say, I know that this was directive given to us, and this is the aim, but I feel if we do it this way instead, we will still achieve this aim, right? And then leadership will look at it and agree with you more often than not, right? If you bring a strong case, present a strong point, what leadership wants is that at the end of the day, this goal is met. At the end of the day, this objective is met. So if you're able
Mm,
to go back to say, okay, so I feel if we do it this way, we'll be able to achieve, or even exceed it. then yes.
Mm.
Now you can only think through that way if you take ownership. If you don't take
Mm.
ownership, then like I said, is they said we should. And then if somebody says, me, I cannot, though, you too, you say, me too. But shit, they said, so I'll just,
Mhm.
So that's the attitude I would advise and I will plead that we run away from. And let's,
Mm.
as leaders, take ownership of the assignment so that we can actually run with it and then
Yeah,
deliver the results that we ought to deliver.
yeah. I totally agree with you. And I think just before you said Babe Tutu, I was just going to say exactly that. That she mentioned, a similar thing that take ownership, go far and beyond. Don't just say, well, they told us to do just what you said. But she said, let it be your thing. So it's
Yeah.
not their thing. Where people feel like, oh, the leadership has told us to do something they said. But you're saying, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give it my best shot. And she said exactly the same thing yesterday. So I think we are all in the same, same boat. But thank you for that, Lisa. And I'm sure somebody is listening now, whether you're a leader or you're aspiring leader in VR, whatever campus you're in, you can adapt whatever you're given to that campus. The UK is a very peculiar campus, which I obviously oversee. But from what you just said, I also apply that because even though we're told to do something, I know that the terrain is quite different from how they would do it in Nigeria. So you've got to sit back and actually think, how can I, still do this thing, but we're still achieving the same goal. But yeah, thank you very much, Mustafa. Right. How do you think this design can continue to grow and thrive in the years to come? And what role do you see the organization playing in the lives of its members?
Okay. We'll continue to grow the same way we have been growing is by
Mhm.
listening and evolving, right?
Mhm.
Listening and responding to the requirements of the time. The good thing is, by the grace of God, we are blessed with a leader who listens, a leader who doesn't move without hearing from the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit says move, she moves, even when she's not seeing the end of the move. But
That's right.
she has heard, right? She has heard, and we're moving in this direction, and we'll move in that direction. As long as we keep listening and obeying, we would move. We will keep growing.
Mhm.
If you have noticed in recent times, I think where we're going is towards building or safeguarding, if you like, the next generation, right? So BR started with um, nurturing, taking care of the whole woman. We
That's
have
right.
a whole generation of women who are coming up now and are coming up. They're growing up really fast into a very crazy society. Now, if BR doesn't catch them young, if we're not one of the tools that will be used by God to catch them young
Yeah.
and get them to recognize themselves and find their identity in Christ,
Early.
let Christ define them early and not
Mhm.
all the other things that are struggling to define them. If we
Mhm.
don't do that, I feel that we will be doing a big disservice to our mandates, to the mandates that God has given us. So I already, there are some initiatives, there are some moves that have been pushing in that direction.
Yeah.
I think it's time to go full throttle, if you'd like, so that
Mhm.
in the years to come, we know that we are after the next generation. The devil is after the next generation.
Yeah.
We know. Uh-huh. So
Mhm.
it's no longer about us anymore. It's
That's
now
right.
about the children. It's now about our daughters. So we are
Mhm.
here. We are enjoying the fellowship. Um, we're enjoying being fed
Yeah.
spiritually. We're enjoying that fellowship. We're enjoying
Mhm.
sisterhood. Who
That's
are
right.
our daughters having that with? Right? Who are
Mhm.
the people in their circle? Is Christ the center of their circle? Right? Do they have that sisterhood? Do they have that friendship? Do they have that safety?
Mhm.
Psychological safety, emotional safety, Do they have that? If they don't, what are we doing to
Agree
bring
that.
them into the fold, as it were, right?
Yeah.
And correct that for them. Because as it was useful for us, it'll be more useful for
For
them.
them. Wow. You know what? It resonates with me, and I think just as you've explained, is we all have children now. Some of us will be grandmothers. God knows, maybe another 20 years or
Or
less.
yes,
But then, if we don't start to replicate what we have now into the younger ones, the ones coming after, and then they're going to have children as well, then we're going to lose that, isn't it? All of those things, that the legacy that's been built, and
mm,
we don't want that to happen. And I think it's very key that you reinforce that we need to make sure that we start to raise, and which we've already started. But I
yeah,
think now we need to think broader.
right.
We need to, in different initiatives that we're doing. I'm sure people are listening. Babes too are taking notes, and I'm sure the Lord will help us to be able to achieve that. I think the next generation, like you said, I don't know what, maybe it's Gen Alpha, Gen Z, I don't know what they're going to call them, but we want where our children, our girls, our boys will be able to have a circle of people like-minded, believers. They can have questions answered, just like we're able to come to a space where we find safety, we find sisterhood, we have fellowship, just like you said. And I'm sure we'll be able to do that by God's grace. Yeah, thank you so much, Rizaba. And I've got another question. So, looking back at your time with Big Fine, what are you most proud of, and what legacy do you have needed to leave behind? So it's probably like two questions in one.
Mm, what am I most proud of?
Yeah.
Hey, they say proud is a sin. We should not be proud. I'm proud of
Mm.
Bimo.
She's probably listening in the background. And give her clap.
I had no hand in making her, but I'm just so super proud of her. Like, she's just amazing. Okay, what am I proud of legacy wise? I'm proud of Port Harcourt Zone. Port Harcourt Zone, like I said, we started it when I came on as coordinator. Then it wasn't a zone, right?
Yeah.
Somehow that's one zone that has lasted, right? Through
Yeah.
the years. We still have PH zone for now. And in fact, I think
Lovely.
like three people from PH zone have gone on to become GCs, you
Wow.
know. So I can't take all the credit. I don't know. They will say I must have done something right, but I just choose to say I think God just had mercy on me. God just had mercy on me and surrounded me with level-headed people and people
Yes,
who
sir.
caught the vision. Yes. So yes,
Mhm.
I am proud of Port Harcourt Zones. Yes, I really am.
I'm sure they're
Uh,
listening. Osaka babes. Awesome.
what was the other question? The tail
Yeah.
end of the
So,
question.
yeah, when you think about legacy, what would you leave behind?
Okay, for them to leave behind. I'd like to think I left the zones better than I met them. Well, I started them anyway. I left the being GC better, more established, better structure. So for me, if I were to advise other leaders, I would say just aim to leave it better than you met it, right? Think innovation, think outside the box, think how do I make this better, right? Because it's legacy. Legacy for everybody will be different, right? I was fortunate. I was fortunate to get in early, right? As it were. So yes, I was there at the beginning, so I could start something new. So you may not be in a position to start something new, even though yes, who says you cannot start a new campus, right? You could. You could. But even if you're not starting and you're taking care of a zone, a campus, maybe the campus is weak in an area, decide that your legacy would be that you will strengthen that area before it's time for you to hand over. right?
Mm.
So it depends on the individual. But for me, the bottom line is decide to leave it, to hand over better than you took it on. That
Yeah.
would be my advice.
Oh, thank you so much, Rich. That's really profound. And I think it's an encouragement also to any leader listening. We don't just want to do things and leave it and like, "Mm, I can't be bothered," but we want to leave it better than we were given or handed over. We love you so much. So thank you so much. I think a lot of things we have shared tonight. And I think what's important is the legacy that we're building. When people mention us, what are they going to say? I think that's also important what you're saying, that if you are being a leader of a campus, if they mention your name somewhere, what would they say you do specifically? And I think it's something that is worth thinking about and is thought provoking as well. So we are really happy to have you tonight, Zaba. And I'm sure as many people, we've been able to get insight to your experience as a sisterhood, how you joined BR and what you've done over the years and your major contribution. And we'd like to say thank you. And also for making sure that you're still part of it. Because some people could join and leave and because they didn't find purpose. But I think, like you said, we have a fantastic leader, Pimo, who has always been an example and shown us the path. So thank you for your time tonight and your
And
contribution.
let me talk briefly about Pimo. Let me tell
Go
you
ahead.
one thing
Go
about
ahead, sis.
Pimo.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so something happened. I can't even remember what year it was. I
Mhm.
don't even know what caused it. But Pimo was being lambasted, like she was being trashed online like badly. And we're boiling. Like, I'm not even sure why I was in Lagos at that time, but we were kind of together. We're like three or four of us together. And we were itching to tell these
To
people,
give it.
give it to them. And Pimo was very calm and just said, don't respond. I'm like, what? It's your name. It's your reputation. Why will you just let them blabber? See, I'm already getting worked up just remembering. But she was just so calm and just so, just
Mm,
peaceful. He said, "Dude, just don't talk about it. Just let it go. I learned I learned to pause, right?
mm,
I learned that sometimes, actually all the time, it's better It's better to be silent, except you
mm,
are expressly asked by the Holy Spirit to talk. And
mm.
allow God. You know, when they say, be still and know that I am God.
That's right.
People exemplified that. People
Mm,
exemplified that. She's someone who, when you see someone who walks by faith,
mm.
right? She's someone again who exemplifies that, who embodies that, and that's one other
Sure.
thing that I learned from her, and one of the things I'm very grateful for. That I had the opportunity to be up close with this person, to observe this person. Pimo is she's a lot,
Mm.
but she's still very, what's the word I'm looking for? She's still just Pimo. She's still down to earth. She's
That's
still
right.
she's still your girl. She would still hug
Girl,
you and
girl.
she would still, be a girl's girl. And then when
Mhm.
you see Pimo's profile and the things that Pimo got, and you see her, when you now see her preaching and you see her on stage, and you're like, wait a minute, this person I was just
With
laughing.
power.
This person I was just laughing with. When you see her spitting wisdom, when you see her, she's a lot. She's a lot of
Mm.
things. Because she's all this to BR, and then outside BR, she's still a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot that she's doing, and somehow she's able to do it all, and
Mm,
get it together and still show up and be there for people she calls friends. That's another thing that I learned working
mm,
with her. You can never be. There's no excuse. There's no
mm,
excuse to not be all that you can be in every facet, right? And then even then, as you are being all that you can be in every facet, there's still no excuse to neglect or not be there or not show up for those you call
Mm.
friends and sisters. So
Mm.
yes,
That's
I've
really
digressed,
profound.
but I just had to talk about people.
No, do you know, I was going to ask you that question. And I thought,
Okay.
how was it like working with Timo? And you just answered that, and I can
It
attest to
was
every
cool.
single thing you said. And I think I learned the same thing that you mentioned because Pimo, has several hats, but
Yeah,
she's still relatable, right? As people grow up,
exactly. That's the word.
as you get a lot of platforms, you know how it's like in the corporate world, we still respect our leaders and all that, but then when it gets to a certain stage, you're like, you have to book appointments, you have to, but Timo still manages to, like you said, create that time. We were in Scotland last year and we're having a cup of coffee. I have that picture and I'm thinking, this is me start with Timo, to create that time. We gisted, she was meant to have a breakfast, but I ate her breakfast instead. She was like the big sister, and it's lovely to hear that. And I think that's one quality that I do admire about her, and you've just also shared as well. So thanks, Big Saba. And there's one more
Thank you.
question. I think you
Okay.
partly answered it. How has being in leadership influenced your personal life? Because you mentioned about your work life and things you've learned. Where you are now, how is it like? What could you say, so that people who are listening will know that there is an impact via not just what you do, but also in your personal life.
Okay. So yes, BR has shaped me in many ways. As you asked the question, something came to mind.
Mhm.
I will just share that. Okay, so as a in Babes Redefined, we're all women, and
Yeah,
the whole thing about some people not wanting to work with women because women have drama and all
issue.
that and all that. And then I came into BR. I had to work with women. I had to lead women. In the organization where I work,
Mhm.
I got transferred to another office, and when I got there, within about a week or two, someone looked at me and went and told them that they should post me to his office. Why? Because there were a bunch of women who are always fighting, and he just believed that I would be a calming effect
Oh,
in that
lovely.
office. So, and his request was granted. I got posted there. And in fact, it's very funny. I got posted there, and really, over time, not only did I become a calming effect in the
Mm.
office, but the people now also now, how do I put it? It got transferred because
Yeah,
they also have now become calming effects in their own right that people now come to.
oh,
People now come to. And yes, I can't take that away from VR. It's one of the things that happened. It's one of the skills that I acquired by
mm.
being a leader in Babes Redefined. So yes,
Wow.
Babes Redefined, being in leadership in VR has affected my life outside VR.
Wow. Awesome, awesome. It's just good to hear. And sometimes we take for granted all those I don't call it little things, those skills. Sometimes we don't think about it, right? That we're gaining something by just doing. But then you realize that you're transferring those skills into other areas. But by talking about it now, I'm sure you are starting to recollect that, wait, hang on a minute. Something changed about me. I learned this and I'm able to replicate it in other areas, So that's wonderful to hear, And thank you, BR, for everybody listening. It's been an interesting session tonight. Isabel, thank you so much.
Thank you
And we're
very much.
grateful for your dedication, your commitment over the years. We definitely see your impact. There's several things that I've heard about you rather, and I've never met you in person. But tonight, I'm speaking to you. So thank you, thank you. And as we wrap up this episode of the Legacy Builders, we invite our audience to share their thoughts, reflection of what they've learned tonight. So I would like, and friends, family, just let us put a chat after the session. Let us hear what you've learned. And we're going to catch another episode on Thursday. So join us as we have another founding leader who's going to be interviewed, and it will be, I promise that it will be time. So thank you and have a good evening. Thank you, Babe Zara. Good
Thank
evening, all.
you very much.